Welcome. Today I'm going to go for a step-by-step tutorial on stretching. Why you should stretch, how often you should stretch, how long, what stretches you should do. Everything that you need to know about stretching in this video I'm going to cover. So let's get started. Well, first of all, stretching is often overlooked when it comes to fitness because it's seen as gay or not good. It takes time, it's hard, it's unnecessary, it doesn't help, it doesn't do anything. But that's just the same as fitness, right? At first you hit the gym, you did a bicep curls for 2 weeks, didn't see any difference, and then after you had done it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe even, then you saw you could take more. You could take the 12 kilograms instead of the 10. And that's the same as stretching. At first, it might doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't work for the first 2-3 weeks. You might not feel like you're more flexible. You're still stiff in the body. But then after 2-3 weeks, you'll feel you're more flexible, and it's a compounding effect. So you become more flexible the more stretch. And it's all this bodybuilders saying, oh, stretching is you, so you shouldn't do that. You focus on macros, just eat right, train hard. Like, come on, bro, you can't even touch your back. You can't even, and you're talking bad about stretching? Come on, you need it most. Now, what are the benefits of stretching? Well, for starters, you become more flexible. That's, you might have already knew that since before. But secondly, you also you lower the risk for joint and muscle pain during workouts, or maybe just when you're out and about and you want to do a stretch, you feel the tightness here in your front delts. Because if you stretch your front delts, then you lower the pain in your front delts, of course. Now, some research suggests that if you stretch before your workout, then you might decrease the muscle mass performance that you can get from the workout. Now, that might not seem like a good thing. However, if you stretch after the workout, I'm going in more detail on this later in the video. Now, if you stretch after workout, then you can increase the amount of muscle mass that's in your body, in your muscles. So, what does that mean? Should you stretch before your workout? Should you stretch after your workout? Well, it depends, because there's 2 types of stretches that you can do. You can do a dynamic stretch, which is more moving, and you can also do a static stretch, which is when it's still. So, before your workouts, you should do a dynamic stretch, which is moving. You should do arm rotation. You should do wrist rotations, all of that, because this will make it so that it comes blood here and warms up your body, but still it warms up your joints and muscles, so it doesn't stretch and tear when you're doing the workout. So before doing your workout, I will go into the exercises later in the video. Before doing your workout, you want to do a dynamic moving stretch, okay? Now, after your workout, then you want to do the static. You want to do the still, not moving stretch. Now, also, if you're going to train your legs, then it's probably stupid to warm up your shoulders, stretch your shoulders after the workout. So, you should want to stretch the muscles that you're going to use during the workout, of course. Now, as I said before, when you do your stretch, if you don't stretch, your muscle becomes tight, you become more flexible. This will also lead to your This will also lead to you increasing the muscle pain and the joint pain and everything like that. So you know why you should stretch, please. This is a informal video teaching you why you should stretch, not to brag about my flexibility. Well, now you know what stretches there are, or when you should do them. Now, how often should you stretch? Well, it kind of depends. It's typically advised to stretch after your workouts. So for example, if you train 4 days a week or 3 days a week, doesn't really matter, you should stretch during those days that you train. Now, of course, you can stretch 10 minutes every day before going to bed or after your workout if you train every day. Now, it doesn't really matter if you train, for example, 4 days a week, and then you stretch 6 days a week. It doesn't really matter how often, how many times. The one thing you want to be careful of is not stretching too much. So for example, you shouldn't stretch two times a day every day, because then it might lead to some more different joint pain or some different muscle pains that comes from stretching too much. So keep that in mind. Stretch at most 7 days a week, and at least 2 days a week. Just keep that in mind. Alright. Also, when you stretch, it becomes sort of like a habit. For example, if you stretch 10 minutes every day before you go to bed, then it becomes a habit. Then every time you want to go to bed, you'll realize, oh, maybe I should stretch. And then this makes it easier for you to actually get into stretching. Yeah, as I said before, stretching before a workout might decrease the performance of your workout. They did a study with football players, or a football match, where players did a dynamic stretch before, and people who did people did a static stretch, and people did a dynamic stretch. And the people that did a dynamic stretch actually improved the performance. However, people who did a static stretch, they decreased the performance. So this just proves that you should do a dynamic stretch before and a static stretch after workout. Yeah, why this is because this helps activate your muscles that you're going to use before the workout. So you should just show your body that you're going to use the chest, or you're going to use the back, and it knows, oh, he's going to use this. So then it's easier for it to warm up. Now after the stretch, as I said, you should do a static stretch, because this just shows, because after a workout, then you rest, you eat, you sleep, and this just helps that by doing a static, still stretch. And just doing static stretch after dynamic stretch before. Just keep that in mind. Alright, I will come back to this probably somewhere under this video. Now, some tips for stretching is to warm up. But most likely you're doing a dynamic stretch before, hopefully. So then you don't really need these tips. But that means just while you're on the bike, or while you're doing the treadmill, or warming up your body, doing some jumping jacks, whatever, then it will help. And you don't really need this step, because you're already doing dynamic stretch before, which just warms up your body as well as your muscles. So now the second step is to breathe while you're doing stretch. For example, if you're doing dynamic stretch, just in and out. Take one with me. You will feel your body getting more relaxed, and you will focus more on the stretch at hand. Now, stretching should not be painful, and it shouldn't be hurt. You shouldn't get damaged while doing a stretch. So if you feel you're doing a stretch after work and you feel it hurts your legs or whatever, then stop the stretch immediately, or weaken the stretch, not stretching as much. Because if you stretch when it hurts, then you might injure yourself. So it also may take longer time for your body to recover into the next workout. So keep that in mind. A stretch should not be hurtful. It shouldn't hurt. It should just be, you should feel it, but it shouldn't hurt. And of course, if you want to feel it more, then you can stretch more. But just keep that in mind. It shouldn't be painful, but you should feel it. It shouldn't be painful though. You can also overload the amount that you stretch. For example, if you begin doing stretching for 5 minutes, you don't need as much. You just need 5 to 10 minutes every day. So if you start by doing just 5 minutes for maybe like 5 exercises, that's reasonable, 1 minute each exercise. Then you might increase into 10 minutes, for example, 2 minutes each exercise over time. You may also want to add more exercises as you become more lenient, become more stretchful. Just keep that in mind, that you shouldn't really have max up and just do 20 stretches after work. You might just do 5. That's enough. Alright, so now we're in the video where you've probably been waiting for, which is the stretches that you are going to do. So firstly, for the dynamic stretches, you want to do some high knees, leg swings, arm circles, walking lunges, torso twist kicks, like just regular, and ankle rolls. So I will also go through this. I will probably add some more if I feel like, oh, what's a dynamic stretch for the shoulders or for arms or whatever. But keep that in mind. I'm going to show you them later in the video. But firstly, let's go through the static stretches. The static stretches are the hamstring stretch, quadricep stretch, chest stretch, hip flexor stretch, shoulder stretch, neck stretch, tricep stretch, bicep stretch, upper back stretch, cat-cow stretch, pigeon pose, standing twist, and side bend stretch. So a lot more stretches for dynamic, but keep in mind you shouldn't do all of these stretches after workout. You should just focus on what you have trained. So if you have trained shoulders, then do a shoulder stretch, maybe a tricep stretch, or maybe a chest stretch. And if you train legs, do hip flexor, quadricep, bro, I can't do it. Quadricep stretch, hip flexor, Let me show you the stretches in motion. Alright, let's begin with high knees. You can either do this, or you can have some more explosivity in it. Now, leg swings. These are quite easy. You should just do this. Swing your legs. Both of them. Just do it. You should do this for about 30 seconds each leg, or if you want to do more, doesn't really matter. Now arm circles. Now for arm circles, my tail or something like that. Just do, man, it's way too cramped in here. Just do this. If you want, you can do one arm at a time to get a more straighter circle. Just keep in mind that you can't go straight up and round, because that's not just the anatomy of the body. Now let's do some torso twist, which is quite easy. Just twist your torso left or right. Nice. Now kicks, it's almost like swings, but you do more you just do forward instead of forward and backwards. Okay. So now let's do some ankle rolls, and it's quite easy. You stand on one leg, take your toe out. You might want to stand on pole. Then you just roll your ankle carefully. Shouldn't hurt. Remember, each way. Then you switch. You might feel quite uncomfortable to do this, but remember, it's for the greater good. Alright, now let's go on to the static stretches that you should do after your workout. Now, the first one is a quadricep stretch. So, you sit on your ass, and you want to reach out and try to touch your toes. And you should feel it in your quadriceps. This is another variation. Just pull one leg in, and then reach out and touch one yourself. And then switch, and do the other thing. Alright, my bad, the one before was a hamstring stretch. Now you should do a quadricep stretch, which you can hold anything for stability, and then you want to reach up and take the back of your foot like this. And you should feel it in the front side of your thigh. And switch, you should hold this for about 30 seconds each, or how long you want. Now let's go on to a chest stretch. Now you can take on the side of the door frame, on the door entrance, whatever. You want to take your arm here, and you want to move your body before, so you can feel it stretching right here, in your shoulders, all of this. If you want, you can pull your arm out, stretch more, and now just switch and do the same thing with your other. If you want, you can put your hand out, feel it more. Now let's move on to a hip flexor stretch. Now, a hip flexor stretch, you want to go down on one knee, like you're going to propose. Then you want to stretch your leg out and you want to push your body forward. So you can feel it right here in your hip flexor right here. And then if you want, you can switch. Do the same thing, go down on one knee like you're going to propose. Stick your leg out, then push your body forward and you feel this stretch here. I like this stretch a lot, actually. It's quite good. Now let's move on to a shoulder stretch. Now, a shoulder stretch is quite easy to do. You don't need to sit down or anything. Just take your arm out, put it across your body, put it in your elbow, and then just squeeze tight. Quite easy to do. Now switch, do the same thing like this, and you squeeze tight. Quite easy. Now the next stretch is quite easy to do. Most of the stretches are easy to do. Just take your arm and you want to pull your head down, and you will feel the tension right here in the back side of your neck. Now switch, do the same thing but the other way. You'll feel it in the other neck, in the other side of the neck, my bad. Let's move on to a tricep stretch. Now this is a quite hard one to do. You want to take your arm, put it over your back, I can do it from behind, and you want to take your other arm and push it down. You will feel the stretch right here in the triceps. It's quite a good stretch. And if you want to switch, take your other arm, take it against, and push it down. Just like that. Now let's move on to a upper back stretch. So what you want to do is take your hand across them, then pull them above your head. You want to pull your body to the side, so you're doing like a C. And if you want to switch, just move this in front of the other, pull it up, and now twist the other way. Quite easy. Now let's move on to a cat-cow stretch. So a cat-cow stretch is quite complicated in my opinion. So you want to get on all four and you want to push your lower back to the ground. You will feel the stretch in your back. And then this is the cow. Then for the cat, you want to raise your back up, hold your head in, and repeat. Just like that. Great. Now let's move on to a standing twist. So it's quite simple. It's almost like the dynamic twist. Just stand up and pull your leg, or pull your body up your torso as much as you can to one direction. Then go the other way. Should feel it in your back. Great. Now let's move on to, I think this is the final exercise. It's a side bend stretch. Now it might look similar to the side stretch we did, the back stretch, upper back or lower back, I don't remember. However, this time you want to go down. So do the same thing. Take your arm out and then pull your body as slow as possible, like so, and then arm out and do the same thing for the other side. Just go as low as possible. Keep your back straight. Holy shit, I am crazy pop. Alright, I believe those are all the exercises, so yeah. Those are all the stretches that I had for today. Hopefully, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment them down below. And if you have any suggestion about stretches that you do that I didn't recommend or I didn't show, feel free to comment them down below, and I will probably pin your comment, like it, whatever. Now, of course, if you have any stretches that I didn't show, feel free to do them. And everyone has different stretches for different areas. So, of course, I can't show every single stretch because there's like hundreds of them. I just showed the ones that are effective and showed those who work. So, as I said before, as a conclusion, you should stretch after every exercise. Before you should do, and after you should do. Exactly. So, if you train 4 times a week, do it for 4 times a week. Do it the same time every day. So get a habit. So you can. It's easier to do them. Don't do every exercise. Do exercise that you have trained. Maybe something else that I missed. Probably. Most likely. So now, if you do the strategies for about a month, then you will see that you're extremely more. Then you will see that you are more flexible. And yeah, being flexible is good because then you can watch your back. So this shit's hard, but together it's easier. Peace.